we are sitting on a disaster. Yesterday there was a story about cocoa farmers saying that they had lost most of their farms to galamsey. And it doesn't seem to register on the radar. There doesn't seem to be any interest anywhere. I don't know whether it's because of elections. You know, President said to us he will sacrifice his election or something. He said something to that effect. He hasn't done it.
Yep.
And as we speak, his former environment minister, who was supposed to be in charge of the fight against galamsey, has resigned, or he was not reappointed.
Right? Not reappointed.
And when I interviewed him, he said the next president of Ghana needs to take this fight serious, because it's like the galamsey thing is going to destroy the country. You know, water we drink, farming, cocoa, income,
health,
it's
everything.
just, you know, there are people being born in communities with deformities. And because we are not a reflective society, we are all just moving on with our lives. And then in 10 years' time, kids born will have all these challenges because the leaders went to sleep on their job. And I really think that this government needs to step up. On the galamsey fight, they've been completely disappointed.
Yep.
I mean, on many things they've been, but on the galamsey fight, it's been a betrayal, a massive betrayal, to allow, to the extent that even cocoa board, for the first time in about 5 years, our cocoa didn't reach even 70% of expected output. Cocoa farms are being forcibly taken by people. It's almost like we're in a jungle out there. You know, it's terrible. It's terrible.
You know, what is disappointing is that, look, you have our constitution tell our president that these resources are held in trust. He will be holding it in trust for the people. So everywhere you have a natural resource, be it gold, diamond, whatever, the things that the people are stealing. Basically, galamsey is about stealing our natural resources and selling it for cheap or for whatever rate, and then pocketing the money yourself or sharing with people who are active players in this illegal trade. But you sit in a country where the constitution says clearly that it's the president's responsibility to protect these resources. You have a big promise made by the president that he was putting his presidency on the line to ensure that we dealt with this problem. Look at where we are as a country.
It's terrible.
It is such a monumental failure of a president to allow the kind of horrors we continue to see.
It's terrible.
That people from his party will openly encourage citizens to beat up soldiers.
Yeah.
If they dare, yes. And you see what happened in the Bole area recently, where soldiers reportedly went to an area, there was altercation, party people were beaten, soldiers were beaten, all kinds of things happened.
Over mining.
Over mining, not mining, illegal mining. Illegal mining.
But we have a government in the country.
The government clearly on this matter is not fit for purpose.
We have a government. I mean, think about it. We have police, we have soldiers, we have immigration, we have fire service, we have prisons, we have all these people who are paid with taxpayers' money, and you have people who are going to cocoa farms to forcibly either flood a farm or take. In fact, there was a couple of reports on this. Freddie, we can get it from me. They go to a farm and they either tell you, they'll give you a price to sell the farm to them, or they will flood the farm with water.
Yes.
All right, and we know this is happening. The media has reported this countless times. It's not. Even, I think Parliament has given up. The president has given up. Everybody is just watching. I mean, it's like we are just waiting. Like, you know.
So what happened to the big things the president said about it?
It's called dereliction.
About his putting of his own presidency on the line.
But his presidency is finished. He doesn't have any presidency. He doesn't have anything else to put on the line.
But when he said it, this was many years ago when the presidency was still fresh. So what happened? Did he lose interest very quickly? Or he was overwhelmed? He looked on unconcerned?
I'll come to, it's a very good question. I just wanted to say that we have to find new ways of making old issues topical.
That's it.
We have to find, and listeners, you may have to forgive us if we keep going back to certain things, because there's nothing else we can do, right? Unless you get me, because we have seen a major attack on our ecology. And you have a government that's essentially not concerned because it's thinking about votes. And I also want Ghanaians to punish. For me, one of the reasons why politicians do these things is because somehow they have this impression that people will. It's almost like we are not collectively wise enough to vote for good judgment. So votes are purely based on the selfish interest of greedy people. Do you understand? So it's almost like, well, we can't touch galamsey because the people there will vote against us. Are you telling me that those of us who call into the radio stations who claim that galamsey is bad are not more than the people who destroy the environment?
Of course.
You get it? So isn't it a dereliction for a politician to say that because of votes I won't do this or that or the other? Then it's an indictment on our collective conscience, because they are basically saying that the people of Ghana are not wise enough to know that destroying our water bodies, destroying our forests, mining in forest reserves is what Ghanaians want, and therefore we'll give it to them. Are we that foolish? Is that how the government sees us? That we don't have common sense to know? We've reported that in galamsey communities now children are being bombed with deformities.
Yeah.
We are eating vegetables with arsenic and mercury. All right? We are having a water crisis on our hands. And the most glaring evidence is that your cocoa output has reduced. You got less than 600,000 metric tons. What do they discuss in cabinet? When the health minister, the guy in charge of cocoa, and those guys, when they go, what do they say? I want to know. It's like, do they read the newspapers? Do they know what's happening in Ghana? So tomorrow, they call it tomorrow next, it's Thursday. When they go to cabinet, can't the health minister take slides from his health director and say, what is the condition of children born in these communities? What's happening there? The water company people, to the minister for water. Do you get it? The cocoa people. Can't they say, if we don't do something about this, then, you understand? Are the galamsey people so powerful that between health, water, sanitation, agric, all of these powerful people cannot say that we have to go and ban this thing and stop it, and they are all just sitting down watching because of votes? Yeah. How? What? I mean, what? How? What are you talking? You got me? And this is not a hidden thing. In fact, 2 days ago, in fact, yesterday headline, cocoa farmers said their cocoa farms had been taken over by galamseyers. Yeah. This is on the front page of a major newspaper. You get me? So is it that people cannot, or is the galamsey fight, do we need the IMF to help us? Or do we need experts from Russia? Maybe we need to go and get some people from China to come and help us solve galamsey?
UN Security Council, I guess.
I don't understand it. For a sovereign state with a functioning government to allow this level of ecological disaster, not a word. I don't understand it. Parliament too doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, they're giving up.
How can you give up? Now, this morning, the Daily Graphic has published the voter lake level, and I wanted to take you back to that place. So, the water level as of yesterday is 265.07 feet. All right? 265.07 feet. Sky, I have news for you.
Talk to me.
Last year, the water level was 264.77. Last year of the same day.
Hey.
So, the water, and I'm not trying to alarm anyone, I'm just mentioning to people, you see, the ecology, nature will always expose you if you disobey its rules. So whether it's galamsey or water levels or flooding, water will find its level. So it's basically, if you disobey the rules of nature, nature will punish you. All right? It's not the devil. It's human behavior. So I'm just saying to you that today is 25th June. Yesterday, 24th June, the water level was 265.07 feet. All right? 265.07 feet. Last year, it was 264.77. So it's higher today than it was yesterday, last year.
That's so concerning.
So I'm just putting it out there. Nobody should say that media was keeping quiet and the thing happened and we said anything. Now, the water level yesterday is higher than it was a year ago yesterday. All right? The day before as well, it was 265.12 feet. That was 23rd. A year ago to that date, it was 264.79. So the water level this week is more than it was last year this week. You get my point? and the rains are not over. And it seems to be raining more this year than it was last year. And we are in June. The spillage started in September, the minor rainy season. So I'm just saying that Parliament should issue a statement. VRA should be summoned. What are your plans? You see, this is how you anticipate. You were in Japan. We don't wait anything. Media is not just to cover history. You can also influence the future.
Yeah.
So today is 25th June. Don't let's sit down and wait. Then graphic on 6th August. Water level too high. We have to spill. Then we all run helter-skelter. No! Planning. If your level today is higher than it was last year, it just tells you that if things continue the same way they are, the problem will be bigger this year than it was last year. So what does a wise person do? You put in place contingency plan. Do you get it? Politicians rush to places after the fact. So when the spillage happens, president will go, candidates will go, we'll all go. Oh, every year why? Because God has given you a brain to use to plan. So you need to call VRA to Parliament and say, VRA, the water level today is higher than it was last year. What is your expectation? Then you call Ghana Meteo Agency. What is the weather prognosis? Do you get it? Then you call NADM. What is your plan? Then you make sure if there's a contingency to say, if these things continue the way they are going, we may have to spill again. Therefore, let's make this arrangement. Let's allow people. Do you understand? That's what you do. But you wait. Then when the thing happens, then you say, oh, the media is giving you a bad name. Your water level today is higher than it was a year ago. And a year ago, you spilled.
Yep.
And people were displaced. And the reason we are talking like this is that we're in the middle of the issue. We spent 3 months of airtime
Sleepless nights.
getting people shelters, hospitals, and things. So it's not like we are just sitting on the radio talking. We've gone to places we know. All right. So I'm just saying, between the executive, which minister is in charge of Akosombo Dam?
The Minister for Power, Energy.
Well, some energy ministry.
Yeah. For now, he's visiting chiefs and having pleasantries.
Ministry of Energy. I think this should be a joint. You know, the worst part. The worst part of all of this is that when the spillage occurred, the president announced an interministerial something.
Have
headed
you
by the
seen
chief of
the
staff.
report?
We haven't seen one. Sky, this is scandalous.
That's what I'm saying.
There's not even been like a proper report of the work, except when the information. The Kojo Nkrumah went to the community to launch something. Remember, he went to Bakba to launch some project.
Yes.
That's all we've seen.
Yes.
The announcement had about 8 ministers:
Yes.
local government, finance, works and housing, rural development.
Chief of Staff inside
Seriously, Ghana, we should not wait for disasters to strike. Water level as of this week is higher than it was a year ago.
And Bernard, when we went on the streets, one of the things we were told was that the VRA, for some reason, had not done the silting of major waterways.
Yes, the dam itself needs to be desilted.
Exactly. So while you are talking about the water level, it may also be impacted by the level of silt, if that is the correct term.
So if there's more silt, the water level rises faster.
Exactly. And then also, in terms of waterways downstream, in the area, the estuary areas and all of these areas,
they have to be opened up.
What is the plan? Have you seen any big earth moving equipment in the water removing the debris and whatever may be in the waterway? These are concrete plans that you need to put in place ahead of the major crisis that will hit us if we don't act now.
All right, so here is the story that is triggering the effect of this discussion. So it's a story written by Ni Amate Kanaku, who is our Eastern Regional correspondent. Do you have the story?
Yeah.
Can you give me the highlights?
It says, cocoa farmers blame galamseyers over decline in cocoa production, and it's available on citynewsroom.com.
Okay.
The story says cocoa farmers in Sejimase in the Buakwa South Municipality and Osino in the Fantiakwa South District of the Eastern Region have attributed the continuous indiscriminate illegal mining activities and forceful takeover of cocoa plantations by legal miners, popularly known as galamseyers, as a contributory factor to the decline in cocoa production in the country. Now, some farmers in an interview with ChannelOne TV disclosed that poverty and lack of commitment from the government drove them into selling their cocoa plantations to illegal miners. Now, Enno Laurentia Akufu lamented how she lost her cocoa plantation after her son sold it out to illegal miners in her absence when she visited the regional capital for a medical checkup, and that would be the Eastern Regional Capital, Koforidua. Now, Opening Emmanuel Chechi, an opinion leader and a former assemblyman for Sejimase, explained how the activities of illegal mining people have affected a total of 18 acres of his cocoa farms at 3 different locations. Now, Ghana's cocoa output for the 2023-2024 season is expected to be almost 40% below a target of 820,000 metric tons when global cocoa prices hit $10,000 per ton this year. Now, in the first 4 months of 2024, Ghana's trade balance narrowed after cocoa exports dropped. Now, on year comparison, cocoa output fell by almost 50%. Now, the situation is not different from Osino in the Fantiakwa South District, where about 40 to 50% of cocoa plantations have been sold out to illegal miners. Whoa, this is serious. About 70% of cocoa plantations have been lost to mining in Osino alone. When the news team decided to visit an area that once had a cocoa plantation just along the main Accra-Kumasi highway to check its state, illegal miners were there busily mining on site. Now, they had dug deep pits next to ECG poles and transmission lines and left them uncovered just about 10 meters away from the main highway. Now, in 2022, the leadership of the Ghana National Small-Scale Miners Association, during a working visit to the same spot, demanded the immediate arrest of persons involved in mining close to the main Accra-Kumasi highway. However, a year on, the situation has moved from bad to worse, as the illegal miners have mined the whole area, including under the electricity poles, leaving them hanging.
They've mined under electricity poles.
Exactly. Now, the question is, this is along the main highway, Accra-Kumasi. This area has a district chief executive. It has someone responsible for security. National security agents are in that space. RESEC, they are all in that space. DISEC, NADMO, all of them are there. You have political party leadership in these areas. You have opinion leaders. There are Muslim clerics. There are church leaders. There are traditional leaders. All of them are in this space. And there are citizens. How can you mine? Look, cocoa trees are protected by law because we consider them economic trees, important for the livelihood of the people, for the survival of the economy, so that if you do something to sabotage them, you can be arrested and properly dealt with. But here we are told about 70% of some of the trees in some areas have been mined.
Wow.
Destroyed completely.
70% of cocoa plantations?
Yes.
In Osino?
Yes. I mean...
Hey. And you know, Krieg is in Koforidua.
Yeah.
Krieg is in not Koforidua, it's in the Bunso area.
Oh, God.
Tafo area. So, you know, we have 3 major cocoa growing regions: Western, North, Ashanti, and Eastern. So, Eastern will probably be like 20%. Right? And if you look at where all our cocoa research institutions are, they are in the Eastern region. So, Eastern region is a very important cocoa growing area for us. And to have, if this is to be believed, cocoa plantations within Osino having been lost to mining. You know, I think one of the problems with this is also the way we appoint people, because a lot of these new DCs appointed were party executives. That's also another issue, right? Some of the DCs appointed, and you know, there's a link between party executives and galamsey. So the system is rotten, no, Sky. It's,
to the core.
We are in serious trouble as a country. That now people who are appointed to protect our collective resources are actively engaged or basically acquiescing by their silence the destruction of our future. Because what is happening is a destruction of our future. And this government has to be blamed. You've had 8 years.
Yes, they sort it out.
Now, I want to remind you of some of the things the president said, because you see, sometimes it looks like we are just making noise. The president said a lot of things which I think he has not lived up to.
Blinded.
I will put my presidency on the line to fight galamsey.
That was
It didn't happen. I will make Accra the cleanest city in Africa.
Sure. Bastard boys are back of the Daily Graphic. There are a group of boys who today
120 something people.
They are going around the city of Accra.
The work of MCEs.
Doing the job that the Minister for Sanitation, the ministry responsible for local government, Ministry for Health, and all these people should be doing. The MCEs, the DCEs. This is what they should be supervising.
I will fight corruption and hold my appointees accountable.
SP, the special prosecutor, they are after him. They are chasing him out of office. That is what is happening.
I will prove to Ghanaians that there's no need for large number of government appointees or ministerial appointments.
Did you check the list of appointees lately?
Thousands.
Doomsday will be a thing of the past under my presidency.
Please, don't even mention it. As we speak, Watami, we are inside Doomsday Funya.
It's a clear problem.
Those who want to make money will have no place in my government.
Hey!
I'm telling you that. He said it.
He said they have no place in his.
He said it.
No, he said it under the influence of agro.
So you see where we are going with this.
Okay.
Galamsey is thriving.
This is the golden age of Galamsey. Throughout the history of this country, this is actually the golden age of Galamsey. Nobody respects the laws. People in authority who should know better are encouraging citizens to go after security men when they come asking questions. That's how bad we have run this country. And Bernard, the question is, some of these people making these irresponsible statements, what has happened to them? The party leadership is not asking questions. They are not punishing them. They are not removing them from the ballot. They are keeping them there just because a semblance of an apology.
So I'm going back to Ghanaians to say that if politicians think that by playing to the gallery they will win votes, it's also an indictment on us. Which means that they think our judgment is skewed. So we have to collectively let politicians know that we are not foolish. Yes, and because if they will sit down for people to do what they do in the name of votes, then it means that they think that Ghanaians don't read between the lines. That's what it means. That if you go to Galamsey communities, you will only win elections if you support Galamseyers. So those of you in Galamsey communities who believe that you don't support Galamsey, you must let your voice be heard so the politicians know, because evil thrives when good people keep quiet. Mm-hmm. You get it? So you go to a community, and because some people support Galamsey and are loud, the MP and the aspirant keep quiet when Galamsey is going on, because they don't think that the people which means that all of us don't seem to have common sense to know that what's happening is going to destroy us. And that the only thing to be respected is those who want money now for Galamsey. Do you see where I'm going? So it means that we, the guys who say we are against Galamsey, we are against misgovernance, have been too quiet. That's what it means. For them to actually think, for an MP aspirant to say in the presence of a minister that, oh, if a soldier comes to your Galamsey side, beat him up. Mm-hmm. How serious can... And the party hasn't said anything.
No. The party of BJ Darocha. He's not said anything. Nothing has happened to the guy. He issued what is an apology of an apology, and everybody is happy. Oh, Yankoso. You cannot expect Ghana to be better when things are so rotten to the core as to encourage party leaders who should know better to say things like that and walk away free of charge. Some arrest is made, and then that is what it is.
Let me hear a quick report, and then I'll do a short interview on this matter. Ecological disaster, failed leadership, and a future compromised. That's what we are sitting on. Whilst we all go about our business, presumably making money. Most of the money we make will be spent buying water to drink and treating sicknesses caused by Galamsey out of food we eating, which is polluted. So you'll be working hard to help you. Let's listen to this report.
So we are currently here at Akem Sejimase, here in the Buakwa South municipality of the Eastern region. Now behind me is the Etiwa forest. Now the people here are predominantly farmers, and a number of cocoa farmers are here. We are going to engage some of these cocoa farmers to find out if they are still in business, And if they are not in business, also find out why they give out their cocoa plantations to illegal miners.
No, sika obi ba betu din no no hwe kokua obenya onyeska bi onyeska fa mo ho bra no enti oton office no sika no betum dia bibi enu ka ho se me kura se na se mi sister bi wu kura sika se mo nya no me yem bia fo sa se ma ton bi no wacha se me ma galamsey fo mo di adwuma e se amwa se ya dia ka sika wi ayi abani timi boa akuafo no dia ke betima eden aba makoko na ka ho so what I say, Makukuna can Jabano soon to Nimra in class room here. Yes, be an old Jama, or Mom Yoku, my spleen in Quadabi, or Mampany, which in Jinamatoy, and now Jacamento.
Obiwa or President send now Binyano. Mentions as Gano, Eri Yinanti, made many 100 and a woman.
You know, to say in pain for your family.
And I won't pay in for as I say. Won't be age said manner, won't be whom criminal Buddha. Oh, Mamma, why? The middle or not the mean to me in Chile.
Okay, for my issue, I did good. Coco's clarity. It's a chabla near Boboja, Talibia, and I say, body, and I could do near the 5 gallons. I shall see. And in the boy. When you saw my saw a benefit from Kana, this is Oka, who said 50, and I would yako. Eti nuka se mi me go ni de o che chile me sami eti mi obi kra be to me home libi enkomoji mbaba kon na oni mi ni pa na ndo se mpapa fu mu de o se awo papa se o de ni da o je o ka hwe ya o ti ase ya mo na se anu lam de be bo me bla anu se ma o be se na within the short time no just as na to e se su wi a je na o be ye ni bi o utimi ni bibi papa bi a e be bo ti me go ni de e ka me ko Nanka, Yampote Manaka Siatu.
Eno Florence Danso lost her cocoa plantation after her son sold it out to illegal miners in her absence when she visited the regional capital Koforidua for medical checkup. She says with me her regrets years on.
No, me buy and na me ba. Edi cocoa na ma. Ama ubi. Onipa ko na nkasa no. Bo obebo na son. Na man di koko no man no nti me bae ne koye nsem bebre ne odi kan so amaniska nti na chese ye ho hwie ni na e ma ye di man no nso no sika odi ma ye nkura na nyi sika bia nti no ye dan bi na ye tu so na ye di boy nti asase na aka na da ho oni fo otu ye nso baba be sisi enso no o se wafa obi so me ye oni pa kono de ocho na de echi a be si na da so da ho ayenye
Koko ne how many assassins ne kesi ya say
assassin ye 3
ka okay ne nti asem we uba ya oba no ebo amane sorry koko na mankofa wan kan chero no eti o say
e ha ye pa.
Tell me where you gonna run.
Report. But this Wednesday, 26th June and Thursday, 27th, the Ghana Financial Inclusion Conference comes off at the Labadi Beach Hotel, hosted by Minister of Finance, Honorable Dr. Mudamemin Adam, and key financial sector stakeholders. The conference will bring together stakeholders from the commercial banks, financial technology companies, telecommunications, academia, microfinance, savings and loans, and international development partners. Join us for 2 days of insightful dialogue and idea exchange with global experts. Learn about key policies the Ghana government is taking to address issues about exclusion, latest technological innovation, and new business models that are driving financial inclusion. Don't miss out on this unique platform to engage with leading minds and shape the future of financial inclusion. It's on Wednesday the 26th, Thursday the 27th of June, Labadi Beach Hotel. Alright, so let's go to the Eastern region. Neil Niamati Kanaku is on the line. Neil, thanks for joining us on this show. We just had that report. Which communities are we talking about? Which districts are we talking about when we talk about this galamsey and cocoa?
Thank you very much, and good morning to our listeners. So I visited 2 districts in the eastern region. That is the Ebuakwa South. The town proper is Sejimase, very close to Yakwa, very close to the Chibi area. And the second stop was at Osino, which is on the main Accra Kumasi Highway. That is the Fantiakwa South district of the eastern region.
And describe what you saw at Sejimase. And by the way, was this visit occasioned by the people calling you to come there, or how did you end up there?
Yeah, so based on the report from Cocoa Board, just the city business desk report that there was a decline in cocoa production, which was affecting cocoa products. I was tasked by my boss Vivian to enter into some of the cocoa producing communities to find out some of these reasons. So I decided to go to the Sejimase area. When we started the fight against illegal mining, that is galamsey, some 6-5 years ago, myself and then Kuju Ajima visited some communities which had large portions of cocoa plantations. So I decided to go to that side to find out if those plantations were still surviving and then the farmers were still in business. Now, to my surprise, when we got there, the whole area, acres and acres of land had been degraded by this illegal miners. So I had to enter the community proper where the people lived to engage them. And some of these farmers openly told me reasons why they had to sell their cocoa plantations. They gave varied reasons. Others had to do with poverty. From them, they claim that the current state of the economy is not allowing them to, as a matter of fact, enter into the cocoa production. So they had to give out their farmlands to these illegal miners. Others also indicated that their farmlands were taken forcefully by them, by the illegal miners. Now, what they do is when they come to you, they would offer you, they will quote a price for you that we want to mine your area. Now, we know you have cocoa, you have palm, you have sugarcane on the plantation. So this is what we want to give you. They will not ask you what you want to take, but they will just give you a quotation. If you are cool with it, they go ahead. If you are not cool with it, they'll move to the next farm, which is very close to yours, and then try to strike an agreement with the farm owner. So if that farm owner agrees, they start mining that area. They will mine that area and leave your farm in the middle. So even getting access to your farm now becomes a problem. And whenever it rains, they don't even cover the mine area. So it becomes very difficult for the farmer who resisted the sale of his or her cocoa plantation to even get access to the farm. So now you'll be left with no option than to come back to them, strike a different agreement where they will even beat down the initial price that they wanted to give it to you. So, Bernard, that's the state of some cocoa plantations in the eastern region as we speak now.
You said that in one of the towns, about 70% of the cocoa farms had been taken over. Is that correct? 70% of cocoa farms?
Yes, that is Osino, and anyone who knows that area proper can testify to this. Even if we should open the phone lines for residents in that area or people who have lived in Osino to even phone in, you'll be shocked with some of the revelations that will come out. 3-4 years ago, I visited Osino. I visited Himan, that is Achem Himan, Jampomeni, and Domi. These are all cocoa growing areas along the that stretch. Now, when I go to Osino, I realized that huge portions of land people were cultivating cabbage, tomatoes, and cocoa along that stretch. Now, last year and last 2 years when I visited that area, all those farms were nowhere to be found. All those farms have gone somewhere else, because the whole area have been degraded by illegal. You can see portions of that area, a large stretch. Even when you are driving through that side from Osino, and then you are heading towards Jampomani and Domi and Heman. Residents of Heman over the years raised strong resistance against illegal mining, but Bernard, today lost the fight because the Jampomani area, the Domi area have all succumbed to illegal mining, which left the residents of Heman alone by themselves. And as we speak now, illegal miners and then even some small-scale miners have invaded the Jampomani area. Now, when you call the assemblyman, he doesn't want to speak to issues with regards to illegal mining because they've lost the fight. All the river bodies, Akesu, Dream, are all bad as we speak now. But that is the situation in those areas. All the cocoa plantations have been mined forcefully, and some willingly also gave out their cocoa plantations to these illegal miners.
So, is it only the cocoa farmers who are complaining, or are the community people themselves telling you anything? Because most of the voices you heard were cocoa farmers saying they had lost their farms. Are the townsfolk of Osino or Jampomani, are they concerned about this at all?
Yes, initially those who resisted their farmlands being mined realized that the leaders whom they fought on in the fight have all given up. Now you go to bed knowing perfectly that you have a farm. Now the next morning you visit your farm and it's been mined because you failed to accept the terms and conditions of these illegal miners. Who do you fall to? With the police? Who do you fall to? The traditional authority? Because you are not going to get them to even make an arrest or speak to the issues. So the whole area, Heman, which even we have a report when you go to City online and then you type Atem Heman, there are several reports I've done in that area that residents were resisting illegal mining. But now they've all lost the fight. Heman, Jampomani, Osino, all these areas have been mined. Even this year and last year, I did report that the Ghana Water Company Limited plant, they had to shut it down because the people are mining just next to the extraction point of the Ghana Water Company Limited at Osino, at Bunsu, and this is going on. Bernard, as we speak, it's going on. Even just
this mining this mining is different from community mining. This is not community mining.
No.
This is illegal mining.
This is not a community mining. This is illegal mining, Bernard. This is illegal mining. Last year, I visited a spot very close to the main Accra-Kumasi highway on the Osino stretch. If you are driving, anybody going to Kumasi, anybody coming from Kumasi to Accra, when you are coming from Kumasi heading towards Accra, before you get to where the speed ramps are, just about 200 or 300 meters to where the speed ramps are. And then when you are coming from Accra and then you get to Osino town proper, just 200 meters after the speed ramp, look to your left or look to your right. You see illegal miners working currently as we speak now. They are mining just 5 meters away from the main highway. Last year, Godwin Ama, the General Secretary of the National Small Scales Association, when I visited that area with him, called for the immediate arrest of persons who were mining. And immediately after we aired the report on City, they halted their process. Now, Bernard, today, illegal miners are there working up. Now they've even moved to the other side of the road and have dug holes. Even where installations, where the electricity company of Ghana have their installations, their wires, their poles, they've dug, and then these poles are hanging on a thread as we speak, Bernard.
Thank you for your report, Ni Amate Kanaku. He is our reporter for the Eastern region. You heard it there yourself on the main Accra-Kumasi road. It mentions Achim Ebuakwa South.
Yeah.
And then he mentions Fantiakwa. So the towns are Sejimasi, which is in Ebuakwa South, and then Osino. You know, Osino graphic is something we buy when we travel to Kumasi. So Osino is not difficult to see.
Is it not an indictment? If you have a responsible government, why would a DCE for that area still be in office? Because he is the head of security in that space.
Yep.
And he is supposed to ensure that our collective interests very much protected there. But from what the gentleman is narrating, our reporter is telling us, in the open, it's not like people are hiding to do it.
They're doing it.
Fidi Gadochi, people are mining during the day. By the roadside, ECG poles are being affected as a result.
They're hanging. And the water processors are all in trouble.
And we are sitting and watching, and he's collecting salary every month.
Pascal, isn't this beyond the DC? From the way he describes this, we have a minister for lands, a minister for environment.
No, I understand that. I mentioned that earlier. That at that level, within that small space,
obviously,
you are responsible for that space. So, what has he done about it? Then we escalate it to the ministers responsible. Clearly, the government is not fit for purpose. On the matter of fighting the illegal mining, you cannot see that they are doing anything about it. We go every year procure trees and plant them. Millions of trees we say we have planted already. About 30 million we are told have survived. So we plant them
and then we
go to
go to the farms and the forest and destroy it. It's a serious, and for me, I want Ghanaians to know that these things we keep saying, it's not because we don't have anything else to say. And you may think it doesn't affect you because you work in Accra, you live in a gated community, everything is okay.
It will affect you.
The fish you eat, the tomatoes you buy, the vegetables you eat, the water you won't get. Ghana Water they are even tired of talking about this. For me, all the ministries concerned, the sanitation ministry, the water works and housing ministry, the ministry of lands, the ministry of environment, the ministry of health, they all need to wake up. Look, there's no other way of saying it. This government has really disappointed us when it comes to this galamsey fight. The president in particular. And to think that this happened in the Buakwa South, is that not where he's from?
Yes, that's where he's from. He was member of parliament for that constituency in 1996. Eventually left office after he was elected the presidential candidate. So one would expect that his umbilical cord is tied to that particular space. And he would lead by an example.
Has he said anything about galamsey recently?
Oh, as for the galamsey, dear Charlie, I don't even if he speaks, I'm not too sure whether it carries any real weight. Because talk alone and no action would not give you any credibility.
But in the State of the Nation address, was there anything said about it?
No, I don't remember him saying anything about it, if my memory serves me correctly. And Bernard, I'm just receiving some disturbing photographs from some people within the built environment. And the suggestion is that the railway construction project that is going on in parts of the western region, for instance, the galamseyers are threatening that project as we speak. Because they are either mining the project itself or mining close to the project.
Are you serious?
So the integrity of the rail system that we are building, we are pouring so much money of money that we have gone out to loan. We are sinking into a project which we hope would open up parts of this country for us to bring things from the hinterlands. But because of some people's greed, because of some people's that's right. And the areas I'm told include Mpoho Wasa, right?
Galamseyers are now fighting the construction of
exactly
a railway.
Yes, I'm told that Amandi, the folks who are building the thing, they are called Amandi.
Yeah.
And then the areas include Manso, and in Kwanta and Soam area we have Amanting, Benso, Eswaso, Bonsawire.
Are you mentioning places in Ghana, or it sounds like we are mentioning places in the Volta region? Mention the thing properly.
Forgive me, I'm not a native speaker. Amanting.
Okay.
Is that correct? Benso
oil palm. Benso oil palm. So that's Western region.
Eswaso, Bonsawire, Achim, and Unsuta. All of these places.
Give me the thing. You are spoiling it. You have them. You go read them.
Okay.
So these are places in Mpoho Wasa, Manso, Amantin, Benso, Esuaso, Bonsari, Achim, and Nisuta, all in Takwa and Suayim. Okay. And there's a video accompanying. Do you have more information? You have more information on this? Okay. Yeah, so Sky. So
and I'm looking at the photograph, Bernard. You can see the rail line. Like, and parallel to it, you have what appears to be a gutter, right? Which has been dug along the rail line. And you see that this is actually, the work of galamseyers, right? You think that it's a gutter. It's not a gutter. The people deliberately went there to mine along the railway line. Now, in which country do you see this happen and nobody has the presence of mind as a person in authority to put his foot down and say, look, in this particular space, I'm declaring a state of emergency. I am dealing with the people. Every month, our ministers receive their salaries.
So they are fighting. Is the Amadi Estate project?
Yeah, it's a state-funded project. We have taken loan to do it.
And the miners, they don't allow us to build the rail.
Yes.
Why?
Because they want to do their galamsey.
Why? How does the rail affect them?
Oh, when you build it across, they have, every part.
Oh, they want to mine under.
Yes, almost every part of those areas, you find gold somewhere. So this thing that they are building is affecting them. So they don't want it. So allow them to do their galamsey. And then we are sitting there and watching.
Serious matter. So now they shouldn't build a railway because of galamsey.
Yes.
Charlie, the first they say we shouldn't go to school again because of galamsey.
I'm sure that there are communities where the schools themselves have been mined.
They mine the school?
Yes.
Around the school or inside the school?
Oh, if you call our correspondent in these areas, they will tell you that in some spaces the schools themselves have been mined. And the students even don't see the need to go to school because when you go just next door, you are going to make money.
So there's also a social dimension.
Yes. And we have failed so badly. We have failed so miserably that you can't even imagine that there is a government in office. For 8 good years, whether since 2016 or 2015 or 2017, you and I, we've been talking about this. We launched a campaign here. And Stop Galamsey Now.
I want to read a story for you.
We did videos and all of that. Okay, go on.
April 19, 2024, BNFT. The sad story of Jacobu in Amansia Central by Nana Kansa Jukum, from a cocoa hub to a galamsey haven. I once asked my aunt on one of my visits to my hometown why chobas and eatery joints are booming compared to my childhood days. Her response, because we can't afford to cook their own food. It's expensive. Then one day I went to the market myself. From plantain, cassava, vegetables to fish, everything was just too much for me. I came back frustrated with empty hands. I gave the money back to my aunt to sort things out, as I couldn't figure out what to buy with everything just too expensive in a supposedly farming town like mine. She then retorted, imagine someone without a farm, which is the case of most people now, buying everything in order to afford a decent meal. That was when reality dawned on me. But the question is, how did we get here? In the 90s, when I was schooling there, my house had so much food that sometimes I invited my schoolmates to come and take some away before they were wasted. We had everything in those days: yam, all the varieties, plantain, and above all, cocoa farms in the thick forest of Jacobu and its environs. All you needed to have a sumptuous meal was a few coins to get fish or meat, and every other thing was there in abundance. Shockingly, market queens now source their foodstuff from Obuasi to sell in Jacobu. The constituency was not named Odotobri for nothing. Odoto is a thick forest, and indeed it was that thick forest for the cultivation of everything before our common enemy, Galamsey, reared its ugly head. Since Galamsey gained ground over there, everything has been on the reverse. The youth are heavily implicated in the whole Galamsey mess and will trade their education for quick galam money. Cocoa farms are being turned into Galamsey pits everywhere. I had a trip about a year ago from Jacobu to a nearby cocoa community. The boldness and conspicuous manner the illegal miners were operating along the road clearly showed there is more to this Galamsey menace than meets the eye. How can people operate openly in this illegality if they were not backed by other powerful authorities? All the drumming most media houses have done about galamsey, and the heart-wrenching videos and pictures of the wanton destruction of our water bodies and forests should have yielded some results by now. If you got to see Jacobu then and now, barely any major or even minor infrastructure development has taken place, except of course the massive loss of our farms and green pastures. The last time I saw the Odo River at Anyankwanta along the Kumasi-Obuasi Highway was a sad sight to behold. This river used to be the source of drinking water when I visited my grandmother's village some years ago. Now, anytime I see images of this river, my heart bleeds. I once told someone that river was a source of drinking water in my grandparents' village, and the person screamed. Why should we be concerned? World cocoa prices are at a record high, but where are the cocoa beans? The recent 58% increment of cocoa prices from 20,928 cedis per ton to 33,000 per ton should have at least brought some joy to cocoa farmers. When I curiously called my aunt to tell her, she was just unperturbed. Her initial response was, "We don't even have the cocoa beans." I'm not oblivious to the other factors that have contributed to this decline in production. My concern, however, is the fast rate at which our cocoa farms are giving way for galamsey activities. The situation is akin to having double slaps on the same cheek. The farms are shrinking on one side and the yields are reducing due to other factors. Our cocoa farms are seriously competing with galamsey for space. I feel for my people at Jacobu. I wail for the youth who are being used for the meager coins while the high and mighty enjoy their booty. Cost of living is rocketing in a town that was noted for its high cocoa production and foodstuffs. Can we continue to watch helplessly for our cocoa sector to go into history books like other sectors? So, what can we do, you ask? That is the dilemma we are all facing. It's an open secret that the people who are supposed to fight galamsey are the very ones perpetrating the act. That is the debacle we find ourselves in. Written by Nana Nkansa Ejekum, April 19, 2024, Business and Financial Times. Maybe the president's pastor will call him and ask him to listen to the radio and do something about galamsey. He has the ultimate power. He has to take responsibility. Chief of Omanpe in the Awin district of the Western region has narrated how he offered part of a school land for illegal mining known as galamsey. According to Nana Opompenyin II, he took the decision to allow a Chinese company to mine at the site in order to save the lives of the peoples because a big gully had developed behind the school, which was becoming a death trap. Speaking to Adom FM, the chief said the municipal assembly had for many years turned deaf ears to the appeals from the people of Omanpe and its surrounding towns. We've been left to our fate, and anytime it rained, we are in trouble. When it rains, all buildings, including my palace, get flooded, and people get displaced as well as properties. I wrote a report to NADMO and the MCA inviting them to the place, but all NADMO officials do is to come and give 2 cups of rice to flood victims and leave, he lamented. Nana Opompenyin II said the situation persisted for long till the miners from HK Zindim came to the town's rescue to divert the waterway. He said it was a Chinese company that came to the community's rescue by blocking the water from flooding towns anytime it rained. They asked for land behind the school to mine in return, and I agreed because they really helped us, he said. Nana Opompenyin stressed the fact that it wasn't his intention to give out the said place for such a purpose, insisting also that the mining activity was far from the school. Contrary to reports, I rather asked the miners to cover a drain behind the school in order not to put the lives of the peoples at risk, Nana explained. Reports suggest that illegal miners from neighboring districts have found the Awin municipality very attractive for their illegal activities. During the period of the ban on small-scale mining and others, there have been many incursions into the Awin municipality by the miners. These have been despite fierce resistance from the Municipal Security Council and the Municipal Committee Against Illegal Mining. Meanwhile, 6 people involved in the act have been arrested and granted bail with investigations ongoing. Story on Adom Online.
There's another one. Western Region is a very recent story. It was published in March 19, 2024. Western Region, galamsey operations threaten safety at Accra Newtown DA Basic School. As tensions rise and the safety of the school hangs precariously in the balance.
Accra?
Yeah, but it's in the western region. So let me tell you the story. The story says that it's by Messi Abuaj. It says, Accra New Town DA Basic School, nestled within the serene landscapes of the Wasa East District in the western region, is facing a perilous threat, galamsey. The once tranquil educational haven has been marred by the encroachment of illegal mining activities, turning its surroundings into a zone of danger. Within a mere 8-meter radius of the school, the clandestine operations of the galamseyers have taken root, posing a grave risk, not a grave risk, to the safety of both the teachers and learners alike. Now, speaking on condition of anonymity, teachers voiced their concerns over the proliferation of gaping pits left behind by the galamsey activities. Now, these treacherous craters, brimming with water, serve as potential traps for unsuspecting students, particularly during break periods when the innocent laughter of children fill the air. Yet, it is not just the educators who are gripped by apprehension. The residents of Accra New Town share their collective unease. With each passing day, fears mount as the encroachment of illegal miners creeps ever closer to the school premises. Despite the escalating urgency of the situation, authorities have remained conspicuously silent, leaving... Hold on.
Conspicuously silent.
Yeah.
The story is misbehaving.
No. So somebody sent me something that interrupted. Forgive me. Despite the escalating urgency of the situation, authorities have remained conspicuously silent, leaving the community to grapple with the looming threat unaided. Now, voices within the community have pointed fingers at the District Chief Executive for Wasa East, Honorable Emmanuel Boache, the Queen Mother of the Accra New Town area, Na Akweye Kwa the First, accusing them of allowing the situation to spiral out of control. Now, tension rise and the safety of the school hangs precariously in the balance. Urgent intervention is needed to safeguard the future of Accra New Town DS Basic School and its cherished students.
Let me read something for you. This is a friend of mine in construction. He says, "Good morning, Aloski. I just started a new construction project in Accra. So I went to Abofu to hire a bulldozer. It was difficult getting one. Finally, I got one, but struggled to get a low bed to convey it to site. So I asked the guys around, where are all the equipment and trucks? Because that area is like a plant pool. To my surprise, the guys told me, the galamsey, no, it has been opened. They said it's in fee. Galamsey no will be. So all our bulldozers, excavators, and low beds have been rented and taken to the bush. The guy told me." So we're in galamsey season. If voters don't punish galamsey supporting leaders, then we are part of the problem. I'm telling you, that galamsey ni yebie.
Oh yeah.
Yebie so agbelina. All right, let's get into the comments.
All right, Kofi Ntema says, hello, Bernard. We have to admit that Ghana is a failed project.
Oh.
Illegal mining right in the president's hometown.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Mr. Mahama isn't also condemning illegal mining because he equally wants votes from it. I think the media must make illegal mining the number one subject for this year's election. This one says, oh, people, the guys in cabinet who must fight galamsey are themselves involved. So how do you expect them to resolve it? This one says, I will suggest to your people to pay a trip through the Ashanti region to Asankregwa through Draboso. In Asankregwa, you find young people surface mining at 2 a.m. and the whole community knows and does not care. I think the Volta spillage should be directed to the west to save the situation, for it is hell in the west. Was that in Takrad?
Is he saying that maybe like they need water?
No, so what he's saying is that if we flood those places, maybe the galamseyers will not be working there any longer.
Oh no, we can't do that.
That's what he's.
But the water doesn't go to the west; it comes down. So you can't divert it.
Okay, this one says, Bernard, from what Sky is saying about the DCE, then the president should resign because it's close to his hometown. Yeah. And then it says you should try the Wasai Kupon area. It's worse. You see them in daylight, broad daylight. Sorry. Abraham Ingbawe says, I think our leaders think we are dumb. They care less about us. Max from Mutinibi says, good point raised by Sky. But you know, this particular government behaves like a womanizer. They say what they won't do, but they would say it just to convince you. Okay? But the issue is about our mineral law. The law that says every mineral detected everywhere goes to the government. What happened to the people in my father's village near Akwetia was that the people come with a paper from Accra saying a mineral has been detected on your land. Either you take some money or release it, or the government takes it away from you. If you refuse, you lose everything. So the cocoa farmers have no choice than to let their farms go. Kweku from Michelle Camp.
These are serious things, eh?
Jones Adoboinla says, I'm surprised you are now noticing the problem with our cocoa shortfall. We've since lost that second largest position due to the inept and laziness of an administration that promised Ghanaians heaven on earth. Geram from Nima says, it will demand bold decisions for the government and the authorities to arrest the paramount chiefs, the traditional leaders, and all government officials involved in this menace to apprehend galamsey perpetrators who caused this havoc. And this one says, if we as citizens do not take issues into our own hands, we'll end up in a few years as the number 10 cocoa producer in Africa. Our leaders have failed us spectacularly. We have to take our lives into our own hands. Voting out leaders alone cannot be the solution. We have to be more active. Eric in Dansoman. And he says, Bernade, please, can't the military see this as a threat to our nation and take action on this galamsey menace?
Military can't act without command from the commander-in-chief. So they don't. If otherwise, then we can't have a country. Because the number of things going wrong in this country, if they say they will correct it on their own anchor, it don't work like that, please.
All right. This one says, I'm being forced to sell my cocoa farm in Apradang, Kwahu West Municipality, at a low price due to the devastating invasion of galamsey. Yeah, galamsey operators.
So far, we've heard from Impoho. You've heard from, what do you call it, Asankregua. You've heard from Wase Kropon.
Yes.
You have Jacobu in Ashanti.
Yes.
Mansun Kwanta. Now you have Osino. Yes. And now you're talking about Kwahu West.
Yes.
Yeah. He's saying that, so the message says, so I've been forced to sell my cocoa farm in Apradang, Kwahu West Municipality, at a low price due to the devastating invasion of galamsey operators. They stormed my farm at night, threatening to kill my caretaker who lives nearby. Within a week, they destroyed my farmland. Okay, now he's alleging that the mastermind is a politician. It pains me to recall the destruction of my farmland, which I bought for my 3-year-old son. I've sold 10 acres at a loss for 50,000 cedis. Similarly, in Ketu South, vast lands are being ravaged by sand-winning activities, with trucks smuggling sand to Togo at odd hours. My Amejikope land is destroyed, and my newly uncompleted house at Kopeya is gone. Okay, and he is also alleging that some politicians are behind it. Authorities are aware, but they seem to turn a blind eye. It's appalling that the Ghana Police Service, NIB, and other security agencies are failing to act. Dossi Ray from Afienya.
Wow.
Another message, the saddest aspect of the situation is that this is happening in the backyard of the president. It seems there is no leadership in this country. My heart bleeds for our beloved Ghana. Justice from Konongo. This one says, our dear nation is in the mud. The nation is full of greedy people who have lost touch of the future. A farm that was left for you by your forefathers was sold for your immediate comfort. Says, Ben, the youth are greedier. Cocoa farms used to be a family investment. I blame we the citizens and the media. Instead of teaming up against the perpetrators, we spend time critiquing someone who gave a promise and had put in some effort. Justice from Wa. Okay. This one says, what the guy is saying is true, Pa. I went for a funeral in the area and the place is
the scariest thing is that most of the miners are not even Ghanaians. So in my Achim area, you see Malians, Burkinabes, Nigerians, and Ghanaians, some from northern Ghana. So when I ask why are locals looking as outsiders decimate their lands for pittance, impregnate their daughters in the process, is it just poverty? It's very sad. What are the DCs and chiefs doing?